In this video, we are having a roundtable discussion to discuss police brutality and ways we can end it.
The time period we are in is more susceptible to violent situations, but we are stuck in a racist time period and need to move forward. It's mainly towards people of color and color and different races and genders. Public safety should always be a main concern because protecting the people is what officers and people who are supposed to protect the people because it's their job.
So believe it or not, more than 60% of minorities are typically unarmed when they are shot and killed. And in this video, of course, we'll be discussing police brutality and with our fellow peers, and hope you enjoy the video and get some facts out of it. Thank you.
Oh, okay. So, first and foremost, this roundtable discussion is going to be discussing racial injustice and police brutality. And of course, the first question: do y'all think that we definitely have a problem here in America with police brutality and racial injustice?
Sure.
I think there's some evidence of some police brutality, but it's not justified, I guess.
Mm-hmm.
I think there's a lot.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think there's a lot. You just read the news. There's a bunch of stories.
Mm-hmm. Okay, so one of the stories actually I'm going to share with you guys is about a girl named Aleena Moore. And so on June 4th, 2013, she was at a party for her graduation because she graduated high school, and they were at a bonfire at night, and she had a flashlight shown into her face, and they were asking for her ID, and they turned out to be cops. And of course, she was confused of why they were at the bonfire and why they were asking for her ID. And so they yanked her up forcefully, of course, and aggressively for honestly no justified reason to do that. And they ended up twisting her arm and arresting her. And the next morning, she got picked up from the county house by her mom. And she ended up actually had injuries such as a torn labrum in the shoulder and incapacitated wrist, which resulted in 3 surgeries, steroid injections, and physical therapy over the next several years. And so she definitely had a lot of injuries just because of the police's brute force against her. And now she says that she's definitely mentally scared to approach cops or ask for help. And apparently she was cited for resisting or obstructing a peace officer, when in reality that really didn't happen. So how do you guys personally feel comfortable when you are being approached by a cop or when you are approaching a cop?
It makes me kind of nervous, depending on why they are.
I feel comfortable more because I kind of grew up in childhood with I want to say figures, but adult figures in my life that were cops. Mm-hmm. So I kind of feel more comfortable, but I do definitely understand that people don't.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. I would say I feel comfortable approaching a cop, but I don't feel comfortable when a cop approaches me.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, if I'm in a group of people, it's okay, but if it's by myself, it feels kind of weird.
Okay.
Even in a group, sometimes I feel like they can brutal, so I'd be nervous in that situation.
And typically, do you completely a kind of opinion question is that, of course, police officers vary from any race or anything, and considering sometimes if you're approached by a white male officer or a white female officer compared to a black female officer or a black male officer, how do you guys feel? Do you think there's any, for you personally, do you feel scared? Do you not feel scared? Do you feel comfortable or anyone or uncomfortable with anyone?
Depends on the question they're asking.
Mm-hmm.
If they're going to walk up to me without any reasonable evidence, then it's just going to be very awkward. If they start handcuffing me for no reason, that's even worse.
Yeah.
I will say I do feel more comfortable when it's a black individual a black cop coming to me, in relation to a white cop coming to me, but I feel like it's kind of obvious why. But it's not always for sure that black cops aren't going to hurt you either, because it varies. But
yeah. So do you think what happened to you, Nick Moore, was justified? Was there any reason that she should have been so kind of aggressively dealt with?
I think that it's not really acceptable at all.
Yeah.
Honestly, in my opinion, I think for some of the police brutality stories and topics for debate, it's not just about, it's like not really about the police system and police overall. I think it more plays into part with like how they are and individuals,
Yeah.
because you're always gonna have people who are like twisted and like
Yeah,
sick.
but like when they're a police officer, like they like go through a process to become a police officer. And that should be like more difficult if like we're getting more police brutality like situations, especially because like they're like children's figures and like what people look up to. So like, if they're not setting like an example that like people want to be, then
I agree with that because it is more of an individual thing, like the person
Yeah.
as an individual is jacked up, not the system.
because they don't teach you.
Yeah.
That's something you did.
Yeah. I agree.
That's good. So, actually on a more, I guess closer level to home, closer to home, on May 5th in Warsaw, North Carolina, Anthony Wall, 22, was choked by a police officer outside of Waffle House. So he was taking his sister to prom, and I think pretty sure after prom, they went to Waffle House and they got into a little heated argument with one of the employees, and that's how the cops were called. And he even said that Wall put his hands up, but the officer still used brute force against him. And a quote from him was that your hands should have never been around my neck like that if my hands were in the air. So like even like especially a lot of the talk nowadays is like police's brute force and like just straight up killing unarmed black people. Like how do I phrase this question? Like how you guys are saying it's more the individual and stuff, right? How like they're the ones kind of like they're kind of morals. It's not the systems. Like how do you guys think we can avoid having more deaths of unarmed black people?
Well, I think, like she said, there needs to be a more extensive process, really, because you're kind of just giving an ignorant person a gun. You know, if they already feel that way, and then you give them a gun, now they're dangerous. So it does need to be a more extensive process.
Depends on the location too. If you're in the hood, it's gonna be worse. If you're in like a more developed place, I guess, they're gonna be more like trusted, I guess, in a way. But if they're not, then it's just gonna be like that.
Okay. So actually, believe it or not, there's an app that is called the RTP Protect app. So basically, what's it called? What was it? It was like an app that includes a GPS and tracking voice and touch activation and can alert your emergency contacts. So if you're in like an unsafe situation or an uncomfortable situation, you through your voice activation, the app will start recording audio and can lock down your location just in case you need immediate help or anything. And typically this app provides more evidence, a peace of mind, and a backup for individuals who are victims of police misconduct. And so do you guys think this app will honestly help?
If it works.
Okay.
Yeah, but like.
Wait, did you say voice activation is needed?
Yes.
Well,
So, like,
what's the point? Like, you want to access the app as fast as possible if you're in the
It's gonna.
system.
Yeah,
I don't know if I'm
especially if
really
you're.
thinking of it.
Yeah.
And if you have blood,
Yeah.
if you have an
Yeah.
older iPhone or an Apple or
Yeah.
Android, and you have blood all over your fingers, it's not going to help. And well, the password, yeah.
And I guess like when you're in a hostile situation, the first thing on your mind is like, hey Siri, start recording. And it's like, it kind of alerts the aggressor that you're being recorded. So
Yeah.
it's not really the smartest thing.
So you guys wouldn't personally use the app if there was anything?
I would use it.
I mean, if I like had like knowledge, like I can get the app. But like the thing is, you're not gonna know when you're in that situation until you are, until after.
I guess it's a start. It's somewhere to
Yeah.
start, but it's not.
Yeah. And so kind of just the last general thing is that how we were talking about the police force and how they should, typically it's the person who does it, not like the institution who kind of teaches them that. What do you think like the government itself can do, like to combat this? Because it is a big problem and we see it so often. Like just recently, an unarmed black woman was shot in her own home. So.
The government, like, say for that girl that got like injured, like they should take the pay out of that police officer's like
necessarily
Yeah.
on the physical side, but just to make sure that they're mentally stable
Yeah.
and that they have the right
Because they're
mindset.
like gonna see a lot of stuff out of
Yeah.
the like field and like they gotta be prepared for that.
And training to like handle situations better and like read situations. Like you
Yeah.
were saying, she was shot in her own home. It's like she was a danger to him. Like she didn't really pose a danger. So I think just like slowing down to read the situation, unless like a gun is pulled, then you need to like act quickly. But if there's business and things
And
harm them.
they should be taught like the right time to like say like if someone's acting violent towards them, they should obviously like restrain them, but like they shouldn't have to like
Draw a gun on them.
yeah.
They should still feel like some
Yeah.
sense of
I mean,
security.
if it doesn't work, like,
Well, yeah.
like in certain cases, but like typically, like they shouldn't be like holding a gun first.
First instinct.
Yeah.
I think more protocol needs to take place after the fact. Like I feel like there's an investigation always done, and then they usually let go, but nothing else happens. Like you kill a person, you need to go to jail. Like it's murder is murder. You know what I mean?
And actually, like from that, on the last question is probably like, do you feel that typically colored people, black people, and compared to white non-colored people, do you feel that they sometimes have a lighter sentence? Like for example, another shooting happened when a white off-duty police officer, she was coming home and she shot a black man in his own apartment because she mistook that apartment as her own, and she only got 10 years in jail. Wow, there's many stories of maybe a black man who maybe just shoplifted once and he got like a life sentence.
Yeah.
So do you think there's definitely some like,
Yeah.
infighting there?
For sure.
Say she got 10 years, but Miss Hill just told us about a story where he like took $50 from a grocery store and he was in there since 1982 and just got a PCI. I mean, you can't say there isn't.
So thank you guys for this.
Bye.
So our topic is police brutality, and I think that we really need to do something to make a change in the world, because with what's happening now, it's really based off of racism and sexism, and just people are getting targeted that shouldn't be targeted. And as they're police officers and people in the workforce, their duty is to protect us, and they're not protecting us, they're hurting some of us. And I don't think that's fair, and I just think it's ridiculous, and I think there really needs to be.
I agree with Ashley, and I think police brutality is like, it's very negative, but it's not talked about very much like in society, and I think the topic needs to be brought up more, and that there could be a lot of things done to prevent it, but people aren't speaking up.
So I think police brutality is definitely a very big problem here in America, because even just recently there was a black woman who was unarmed, shot in her own home, which to me just is really bizarre, and just why would that happen? I just feel that police brutality, especially nowadays, it's to me at least, it's getting more intense and it's becoming more frequent, and it's something that we do talk about it and you definitely hear it in the news, but you don't see much, I guess, justice or like solutions being proposed, you know? So to me, I feel it's definitely a problem that I really hope that the government does something about, and that I guess society in a way also does, because it's just, you're basically just killing innocent victims who have done nothing wrong, and they have no reason to be killed. So police brutality is definitely a major problem here in America, and we need to fix it.
So I was the one recording the discussion, and as you can tell, it was a very good discussion about how police brutality is not only affecting a lot of people in America, but that it really needs to end, and like rules need to be changed, because people in the police force need to be the ones protecting us versus the ones that we are afraid of.
Yeah, and so, of course, as you can tell, there was very good points made, like how typically it's not the department definitely does not teach police officers to, I guess, to kill unarmed people of color. However, it's simply the more the individual, and we definitely discussed many good solutions that, believe it or not, that I can't believe that the government hasn't thought of some. So
Thank you for watching our video on police brutality.
Thank you.